The fork trembled in Owen Wolf's hand. He stared at the plate before him, scrambled eggs, toast, nothing special, and felt something impossible happening in his mouth. Flavor. Actual, vivid, terrifying flavor. Butter and herbs and something he couldn't name, something that tasted like hope?
No.
Deeper than that. It tasted like memory, like the ghost of every meal he'd forgotten how to experience. For 3 years, food had been ash on his tongue. Now this. His eyes snapped up to the woman behind the counter. She wasn't watching him. She was wiping down the coffee station with mechanical precision, exhaustion carved into every movement. Dark hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. Pale blue uniform 2 sizes too big. Nothing about her suggested she'd just performed a miracle. But she had. Hey there, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the channel. Or if you're new here, welcome to a story that's going to grab your heart and not let go. I'm so glad you're here. Drop a comment right now and tell me, where in the world are you watching from? Are you cozy at home? On a lunch break? Sneaking this at work? I want to know. And listen, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are we waiting for? Hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss what happens next in this story. Trust me, this one's special. Now, let's get back to it. Owen Wolf didn't believe in miracles. He believed in market dominance, Michelin stars, and the brutal mathematics of the restaurant industry. He'd built an empire on the premise that extraordinary food could be engineered, replicated, and sold at a premium. But he hadn't tasted any of it in 37 months. Psychological, the doctors said. Trauma-induced abusive. His taste buds functioned perfectly. It was his brain that had gone dead, severed from pleasure by stress and betrayal so profound it had rewired his neural pathways. He'd spent a fortune trying to fix it. Celebrity chefs. Experimental treatments. Meditation retreats. Nothing. Until tonight. Until her. He took another bite. The flavor bloomed again. Subtle, complex, alive. His hands were shaking now. He set down the fork before anyone noticed. The diner was nearly empty. One truck driver in the corner booth. A teenager scrolling through her phone. And the waitress who just resurrected his entire sensory system without even knowing it. She turned, caught him staring, and something flickered across her face. Not recognition, he was used to that, the double takes, the whispered, "Is that Owen Wolf?" But something else. Wariness. Like she'd been burned before and had learned to spot smoke from a mile away. Something wrong with your food? Her voice was quiet, careful.
No.
The word came out rougher than he intended. It's perfect. Her eyes narrowed slightly. She didn't believe him. Or maybe she didn't trust the compliment. She glanced at the clock, 11:47 p.m., and he realized she wanted him gone. Wanted to close up. Wanted to disappear into whatever life waited for her beyond these fluorescent lights and cracked vinyl booths. Can I get you anything else? Who made this? She hesitated. The cook left early. I did. Impossible. Owen had tasted dishes prepared by artists, by James Beard winners, by chefs who'd trained for decades in Kyoto and Paris and Copenhagen. None of them had broken through the wall in his head. But this tired waitress in a roadside diner had done it with scrambled eggs. What's your name? Now the wariness sharpened into something harder. Lily. Lily. He tasted her name the way he'd tasted the food, carefully, trying to understand what made it different. Do you cook often? I make eggs. It's not complicated. She was already turning away, dismissing him, and panic flared in his chest. If she left, would the taste disappear with her? Would he sink back into that gray numbness where every meal was just fuel, just obligation, just another reminder of everything he'd lost? Wait.
The door chimed.
A man walked in, and Lily went absolutely still. Owen watched her face transform. The careful neutrality shattered, replaced by raw fear before she could mask it. The man was mid-30s, cheap suit, smile that didn't reach his eyes. He looked at Lily the way a person looks at something they own. There you are, sweetheart. The endearment was poison. We need to talk. Get out, Derek. Lily's voice was steady, but her hands had curled into fists. I have a restraining order. Expired last week. I checked. Derek's smile widened. And I heard about your mom. Memorial General, right? Tough break. Those medical bills must be crushing you. Owen's instincts, honed through years of hostile boardroom negotiations, screamed danger. He didn't know who Derek was, but he recognized a predator when he saw one. Lily's face had gone pale. I'm not doing this here.
Leave.
Just came to help. Derek spread his hands in mock innocence. I know you're struggling. Thought maybe you'd finally be ready to stop this stubborn act and come home where you belong. The air between them crackled with history. Ugly history. Owen stood up. Both of them looked at him, Lily with alarm, Derek with annoyance. The lady asked you to leave. Owen's voice carried the weight of someone accustomed to obedience. Derek sized him up. This doesn't concern you, buddy. It does now. For a long moment, Derek held his gaze. Then something shifted, recognition, maybe, or simple calculation. He took a step back, hands raised. No problem. Just catching up with my wife. He smiled at Lily. We'll talk later, sweetheart. I'm not going anywhere. He left. The door chimed again. Silence crashed down like a wave. Lily was trembling. She gripped the edge of the counter, knuckles white, and Owen saw her fighting for control. Saw her lose. Her breath hitched once, sharp and desperate, before she turned away and disappeared through the kitchen door. He should leave. This wasn't his business. He'd gotten what he came for, a moment of taste, of sensation, a crack in the prison of his condition. But his feet carried him forward anyway, past the counter, through the swinging door. He found her in the kitchen, back pressed against the industrial refrigerator, eyes closed, breathing like she'd just survived a car crash. Hey. He kept his voice soft. You okay? She laughed, a broken, bitter sound. Do I look okay? Fair point. Who was that? No one. Nothing. Just. She opened her eyes, and they were bright with unshed tears and something fiercer. Rage, maybe. Or shame. Just a mistake I made 3 years ago that won't stay buried. Owen understood mistakes. Understood things that wouldn't stay buried. Ex-husband, Lily said before he could ask. And before you offer to help or fix it or whatever rich guys do, don't. I've handled him before. I'll handle him again. Rich guys? She looked at him. Really looked for the first time, and he saw the moment she placed him. Saw recognition dawn, followed immediately by suspicion. You're Owen Wolf. Not a question. An accusation. Yes. The restaurant guy. The billionaire. That's reductive, but accurate. She pushed off the refrigerator, squaring her shoulders. What are you doing in my diner? Your diner? He filed that away. Escaping paparazzi. Found something unexpected. Well, you've had your meal. Time to go back to your world. She moved toward the door, clearly expecting him to follow, to leave, to disappear back into whatever gilded cage he'd emerged from. But Owen didn't move. I need to know something first, he said quietly. What did you put in those eggs? Lily stopped. Turned. Butter. Herbs.
Salt.
Why? Because I haven't tasted food in 3 years. And yours just brought me back to life. The words hung between them like a confession. Lily stared at him, and for the first time since Derek had walked in, the fear in her eyes was replaced by something else entirely. What secret does Lily's cooking hold? And why can only her food break through Owen's condition? Drop your theories in the comments below. Lily didn't believe him. She'd heard plenty of lines from men. Derek had specialized in them. Promises wrapped in lies, compliments that were really criticisms, declarations of love that meant I own you. This was just another variation. A billionaire slumming in a diner, spinning some story about lost taste and miraculous eggs. Except Owen Wolf wasn't smiling. Wasn't performing. He looked haunted. 3 years, she heard herself say. 37 months. 2 weeks. 4 days. He said it like he'd been counting. Like each tasteless meal had been a prison sentence. Psychological condition. The doctors call it trauma-induced agusia. Everything tastes like nothing. Like eating cardboard. Like Like being dead, but still having to pretend you're alive, Lily finished quietly. Their eyes met. Understanding passed between them, unspoken and uncomfortable. She knew that feeling. Had lived it for 5 years with Derek, swallowing her dreams along with his insults, telling herself it was fine. She was fine. This was just what marriage looked like. Then 2 years after the divorce, still carrying the weight of his voice in her head, "You're worthless. You'll never be anything.
Who'd want you?
I should go." Owen's voice broke the silence. "I didn't mean to. This isn't your problem." He was right. It wasn't. But as he turned to leave, Lily felt something unexpected twist in her chest. Not attraction. She'd learned that lesson, had the scars to prove it. Something else. Curiosity, maybe. Or recognition. The way you spot someone drowning because you've memorized the shape of water in your own lungs. Wait.
He stopped.
Lily took a breath. It wasn't just eggs. I used brown butter. Fresh thyme from the garden out back. Sea salt, not table salt. And she hesitated, feeling foolish. I cooked them low and slow. Patient. Most people rush them. Why? Because they deserve better. The words came out before she could stop them. Even scrambled eggs. Even something simple. It deserves to be made with care. Owen stared at her like she'd just revealed the secrets of the universe. "That's it," he whispered. "That's what I tasted."
Care.
Lily's face flushed. "It's just food."
No.
His voice was firm. "It's not." Before she could respond, her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen, and her stomach dropped. Memorial General Hospital. Payment overdue. Please contact billing immediately. The real world came crashing back. Derek's words echoed. Those medical bills must be crushing you. They were. Her mother's treatment had cost everything. The savings, the car, the tiny apartment she'd been renting. Now Lily lived in a room above the diner, worked double shifts, and still couldn't keep up. She silenced the phone. "You should go. I need to close up." This time, Owen didn't argue. But he pulled out a business card, actual paper, expensive stock, and set it on the counter. "If you ever want to cook something that matters," he said quietly, "call me." Then he was gone, disappearing into the rain-soaked night like he'd never been there at all. Lily stood alone in the empty diner, staring at the card. Owen Wolf, CEO, Wolf Hospitality Group.
She should throw it away.
Should forget this whole strange encounter. Should focus on what mattered. Her mother, the bills, survival. But she slipped the card into her pocket instead. Across town, Owen sat in the back of his car and pressed his fingers against his temples. He could still taste it.
The eggs.
The butter. The emotion somehow baked into something as simple as breakfast food. "Home, Mr. Wolf?" His driver, James, caught his eye in the rearview mirror.
No.
The office. "Sir, it's past midnight." "I'm aware." James knew better than to argue. They drove through empty streets toward the gleaming tower that housed Wolf Hospitality Group, 32 floors of restaurants, test kitchens, and corporate offices representing an empire built on food Owen could no longer enjoy. His phone lit up. Isabel calling. He declined it. His business partner could wait. Isabel Torres had been with him since the beginning, back when Wolf Hospitality was just one experimental restaurant in Seattle. She was brilliant, ruthless, and lately, impatient with his condition.
"Get over it," she'd said last month. "See another therapist."
"Try harder. We can't have a CEO who can't taste the product." She didn't understand.
How could she?
To her, food was business. To Owen, it had been everything: art, passion, identity. Losing his palate had been like losing color, like going blind but only in one sense, and having everyone tell him to just try harder to see. The car pulled up to the tower. Owen rode the elevator to the 32nd floor, where floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. His office was pristine. Sterile. He hated it. On his desk sat a folder, Q4 expansion plans. New restaurants in Tokyo, Paris, Dubai. Millions in investment. Deals that needed his signature. He ignored it and opened his laptop instead. Search. Lily plus Diner plus city name. Nothing useful. He tried variations. Lily plus waitress plus cook. Still nothing. He sat back, frustrated. He didn't even know her last name. But he knew her food, knew what it had done to him. And he knew, with absolute certainty, that he needed to taste it again. Lily climbed the narrow stairs to her room above the diner at 1 in the morning. The space was barely bigger than a closet, a twin bed, a hot plate, a bathroom the size of a phone booth. But it was hers. Derek didn't know about it. Couldn't find her here. Except now he had.
Somehow.
She locked the door. Regular lock, deadbolt, chain, and only then let herself shake. Derek had been her mistake. Her 5-year prison sentence. They'd met when she was 21, working her way through culinary school, dreaming of opening her own restaurant someday. He'd been charming, attentive, supportive, until he wasn't. The criticism started small. That dish is a little ambitious, don't you think? Then sharper. You're wasting time on pipe dreams. Then cruel. No one's going to hire you. You're not that talented. By the time she realized what was happening, she'd already dropped out of school. Already stopped cooking anything that mattered. Already learned to make herself small enough that he wouldn't notice her. The divorce should have ended it. But Derek didn't let go of things he considered his. Her phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Derek, we're not done. You know that, right? Her hands trembled as she blocked the number. He'd just get another one. He always did. She pulled out Owen's card, turning it over in her fingers. A billionaire. A man who probably had assistants and lawyers and people who handled problems like Derek with a single phone call. It would be so easy to let someone else fix this. To let someone swoop in and save her. But Lily had learned the hard way what happened when you let powerful men into your life. They helped. Then they owned you. Then you disappeared completely. She set the card on the tiny bedside table and pulled out her real treasure instead. A journal. Leather-bound, worn at the edges. Inside, recipes in her mother's handwriting. Rosemary's famous bouillabaisse. Summer tomato galette. Brown butter madeleines with lavender. Her mother had been a cook. Not professionally, she'd worked as a nurse, but cooking had been her art. Her language. The way she said, I love you and you're safe and everything will be okay. Lily had inherited that language. That instinct for flavor and care and turning ingredients into emotion. Then Derek had silenced it. And now her mother was dying. Stage 4 cancer, treatments that cost more than Lily could earn in a lifetime, and Lily couldn't even cook her the meals she deserved because the diner's kitchen closed at midnight and her hot plate could barely boil water. She touched her mother's handwriting, tracing the loops and curves. What would you do, Mom? But she knew the answer. Her mother would tell her to cook, to stop hiding, to remember who she'd been before Derek convinced her she was nothing. Lily closed the journal and lay back on the narrow bed. Through the thin walls, she could hear rain drumming on the roof, could hear the occasional car passing below, could hear the voice in her head that still sounded like, Derek, you're not good enough. You'll never be good enough. But for just a moment tonight, when Owen Wolf had tasted her eggs and looked at her like she'd performed magic, that voice had gone quiet. And Lily had remembered what it felt like to be seen. What do you think? Can Lily trust Owen? Or is she right to keep her distance? And what really caused Owen's condition? Let me know your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. Owen came back the next night. Lily saw him through the diner window, sleek black car, driver holding an umbrella, the kind of entrance that didn't belong in a neighborhood where people paid in crumpled bills and loose change. Her stomach tightened. She'd half hoped last night had been a fever dream, a strange encounter she could file away and forget. But here he was, real and persistent, walking through the door like he hadn't just crashed into her carefully controlled life and shattered her equilibrium. Coffee, he said, sliding into the same booth. And whatever you're willing to make. The cook's here tonight. Lily kept her voice neutral. He can. I don't want what he makes. Owen's eyes met hers. Please. That word, please, delivered without arrogance, without expectation, just quiet desperation, made her defenses crack slightly.
Fine.
One order. Then you leave. She didn't ask what he wanted.
Didn't need to.
She disappeared into the kitchen, where Tommy, the night cook, was smoking by the back door. I got this one, she told him. Tommy shrugged. Your funeral. Rich guy's been out there for 10 minutes, just staring at the menu like it's written in Arabic. Lily washed her hands and surveyed the ingredients. Limited options. Diner food. But her mother's voice whispered through her memory, it's not about what you have. It's about what you do with it. She made him pot roast. Slow-braised beef they'd been cooking since afternoon, but she built the plate with care, velvety mashed potatoes, carrots glazed with butter and honey, gravy she adjusted with a splash of red wine from the cooking liquid. Simple.
Honest.
The kind of food that tasted like home, if home had been a good place. She set it in front of him, without ceremony. Owen stared at it, then at her, then back at the plate. It's just pot roast, Lily said defensively. He cut into the meat, took a bite, and closed his eyes. Lily watched his face transform, tension melting, something like peace settling over his features. Or maybe pain. It was hard to tell. When he opened his eyes again, they were bright.
How?
His voice was rough. How are you doing this? I'm not doing anything. I'm following a recipe that's been on this menu for 20 years. Then why does it taste like? He stopped, searching for words. Like someone actually cared whether I lived or died. The question hit her in the chest. Too close. Too real. That's dramatic, she managed. I'm serious, Lily. He leaned forward. I've had pot roast from chefs who trained under Alain Ducasse. I've eaten at Noma, 11 Madison Park, Osteria Franciscana. Nothing. Not a single flavor. But this. He gestured at the plate. This tastes like memory. Like emotion. Like someone's mother made it, Lily finished quietly. Yes. She looked away. It was my mom's technique. Before she got sick. She used to say food without feeling is just fuel. She's right. She's dying. The words came out flat, matter of fact. Lily had said them so many times to insurance companies and billing departments that they'd lost their weight. But saying them to Owen, to someone who looked at her like she mattered, made them suddenly, devastatingly real again. I'm sorry, Owen said quietly. Lily shrugged, not trusting her voice. Is that why you're here? Working in a diner instead of... Instead of what? I'm a divorced waitress with debt and a GED. This is exactly where I should be. That's not true. You don't know anything about me. Then tell me. Why? Lily's frustration bubbled over. Why do you care? You got your miracle meal. Your taste buds work. Congratulations. Go back to your restaurants and your billions and leave me alone. Owen was quiet for a long moment. Then, because for 3 years I've been a ghost in my own life. And you gave me 5 minutes of feeling human again. So yes, I care. I care why. I care how. And I care what I have to do to feel it again. Before Lily could respond, the door chimed. Derek walked in with 2 other men. Lily's blood turned to ice. There she is. Derek's smile was poison wrapped in charm. Told you guys she works here. My beautiful wife, slumming it in a diner when she's got a perfectly good home waiting. Ex-wife, Lily said loudly. And you need to leave.
Now.
Can a guy get some coffee? Derek slid into a booth, his friends flanking him. This is a public establishment, sweetheart. You can't discriminate against paying customers. Owen stood up. She asked you to leave. Derek looked him over with exaggerated slowness. You again. The White Knight. Got yourself a new sugar daddy, Lily? That was fast. Derek, I swear to God.
What?
You'll call the cops? With what restraining order? It expired, remember? Derek leaned back, utterly comfortable. Besides, I'm just here for coffee. And to let you know that Memorial General called me today. Seems your mom listed me as emergency contact back when we were married. They're looking for someone to make decisions about her care, since you're financially compromised. Lily felt the floor drop out from under her. You're lying. Am I? Want to call and check? Derek pulled out his phone. They were very concerned. Apparently, you're 3 months behind on payments. They're considering transferring her to county hospice. But I told them I'd handle it. Family takes care of family, right? You are not making decisions about my mother. Then pay your bills. Derek's smile widened. Oh wait, you can't. Because you're broke. Because you left me and threw away everything I gave you. But I'm willing to help, Lily. All you have to do is come home. Be a good wife again. And I'll make sure your mom gets the best care money can buy. The room spun. Lily gripped the counter, trying to breathe, trying to think, trying not to shatter completely. This was Derek's pattern. Find the pressure point. Apply force. Wait for her to break. She's not going anywhere with you. Owen's voice cut through the chaos. And I'll personally cover her mother's medical expenses. Every cent starting tonight. The words hung in the air like a bomb. Derek's smile faltered. What? You heard me. Owen pulled out his phone. What hospital?
No.
Lily found her voice. No, you are not doing this. Lily, I don't need rescuing. I don't need some billionaire swooping in to fix my life. I've been down that road, and I know exactly where it leads. This is different. Is it?
How?
She was shaking now, anger and fear and humiliation burning through her. You want something from me. My cooking, my gift, whatever you think I have. And in exchange, you'll pay my bills. You'll own me, just like he did. That's not. Owen's face had gone pale. Lily, that's not what this is. Then what is it? He opened his mouth, closed it, and Lily saw the truth in his eyes. He did want something. Maybe not ownership, but need. Desperate need. She was the key to his condition, and he wasn't going to let that go. Just like Derek had needed her small, quiet, under his control. Just like every powerful man needed something from the people they claimed to care about. Get out, Lily whispered. Both of you. All of you. Just get out. Derek stood slowly, triumphant. I'll be back tomorrow, sweetheart. When you're ready to be reasonable. He left with his friends, their laughter echoing as the door swung shut. Owen didn't move. Lily, I said get out. At least let me
Out.
Her voice cracked. She was going to cry, and she'd be damned if she did it in front of him. Owen looked at her for a long moment, something like pain in his eyes, then nodded slowly. I'm sorry, he said quietly. For what it's worth. I'm sorry. Then he was gone too, and Lily was alone in the diner with the ruins of her life scattered around her feet. She made it to the kitchen before the sobs came. Tommy found her 20 minutes later, sitting on the floor by the walk-in freezer, arms wrapped around her knees. You okay, kid? My ex is trying to control my mother's medical care. A billionaire thinks I'm some kind of culinary miracle worker. And I can't afford rent. Lily laughed, bitter and broken.
So yeah.
I'm great. Tommy sat down beside her with a grunt. The rich guy. He the one who's been asking around about you. Lily's head snapped up. What? Got a call this afternoon. Some assistant, asking questions. How long you'd worked here. If you had formal training. If the owner would consider selling. Tommy pulled out a cigarette, didn't light it. Didn't tell him nothing. But figured you should know. Ice flooded Lily's veins. Owen had been investigating her. Behind her back. Just like Derek used to do, checking her phone, her schedule, her friends, making sure she stayed exactly where he wanted her. The pot roast Owen had eaten sat on the counter, half finished. Lily stared at it and felt something harden in her chest. She'd been right not to trust him, right to keep her distance. These men, rich, powerful, used to getting what they wanted, they didn't see people. They saw assets. Problems to solve. Things to acquire. Her phone buzzed. Memorial General, your mother's condition has deteriorated. Please call immediately. The world tilted. Lily stood up, legs shaking, and pulled out her phone with trembling fingers. It rang 4 times before a nurse answered. This is Lily Bennett. You called about Rosemary Bennett. Yes, Miss Bennett. Your mother had a difficult episode tonight. She's stable now, but we need to discuss next steps. And the outstanding balance. I'm sorry, but administration is requiring payment before we can continue treatment. How much time do I have? A pause. 48 hours. After that, we'll need to transfer her to county care. County care, where people went to die without dignity, without comfort, without anything that made them them. I understand, Lily whispered. Thank you. She hung up. 48 hours to find money she didn't have. 48 hours before her mother was taken somewhere Lily couldn't follow. 48 hours to choose between Derek's poisonous offer and Owen's too convenient rescue. Unless Lily looked at the kitchen, at the stove, at her hands. Unless she found a third option. She pulled out Owen's business card, still in her pocket, somehow, and stared at it for a long time. Then she grabbed her jacket and walked out into the rain, leaving Tommy calling after her, leaving the diner and its safety behind. She had 48 hours. And she was going to save her mother, her own damn self. Lily stood outside Wolf Tower at 2 a.m, soaked from the rain, staring up at the gleaming monolith of glass and steel. This was insane. He wouldn't even be here. Billionaires didn't work at 2 a.m. They were at home in their penthouses, sleeping on beds that cost more than her mother's medical bills. But the lights were on. 32nd floor, burning bright against the storm. She pushed through the revolving doors before she could change her mind. The lobby was marble and minimalism, the kind of space designed to make regular people feel small. A security guard looked up from his desk, startled. I need to see Owen Wolf. Lily's voice echoed in the cavernous space. Do you have an appointment?
No.
Then I'm afraid. Tell him Lily from the diner is here. Tell him I'll cook for him. Whatever he wants.
But I need to talk to him. Now.
The guard studied her, dripping wet, desperate, clearly not belonging, and reached for his phone. There's a Lily here to see you, Mr. Wolf. She says, yes, sir. I'll send her up. He hung up, looking surprised. 32nd floor. Elevator on your right. Lily's heart hammered as she rode up. Each floor that passed felt like a decision she couldn't take back. But she'd run the numbers in her head 100 times during the walk here. Derek's offer was poison. The bank wouldn't give her a loan. Her credit cards were maxed. That left Owen. And maybe she could control the terms this time. The elevator opened directly into his office. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city, rain streaming down the glass like tears. And there, silhouetted against the storm, stood Owen Wolf. He turned. His tie was loose, sleeves rolled up, hair disheveled. He looked nothing like the polished billionaire from the diner. He looked exhausted. Human. Lily. Her name was relief and surprise and question all at once. You're soaked. Let me. I need money. She cut him off, forcing the words out before pride could stop her. $50,000. For my mother's hospital bills. In exchange, I'll cook for you. Whatever you want, whenever you want, for 6 months.
A year.
However long it takes you to figure out why my food works. Owen stared at her. Lily, that's the deal. Business.
Clean.
You get what you need, I get what I need. No rescuing. No charity. No strings. That's not. Do we have a deal or not? The silence stretched between them, taut and electric. No, Owen said quietly. Lily felt her stomach drop. What? I'm not making that deal. Why the hell not? I thought you needed. I do. He moved closer, and Lily fought the urge to step back. But not like this. Not with you thinking I'm buying you. Then what do you want? Frustration made her voice sharp. Because I'm all out of options here, and you're the only person offering help, and I hate that, but my mother is dying and I'm desperate and I don't have time for your moral complexity. What I want, Owen said carefully, is to hire you, legitimately, as a chef. I'm not a chef. You are. You just don't believe it yet. Owen, I'll pay your mother's medical bills. All of them.
Today.
Right now. He pulled out his phone. But not in exchange for some indentured servitude arrangement that makes you hate me. In exchange for giving me 1 week. 7 days. Come work in my test kitchen. Let me understand what makes your food different. If at the end of the week you want nothing to do with me, fine. Walk away. The medical bills are paid regardless. It was too good. Too clean. There had to be a catch. Why? Lily searched his face for deception. Why would you do that? Because I've spent 3 years as a ghost.
His voice was raw.
And you made me feel alive again. Because maybe, if I can understand what you do, I can find my way back to who I used to be. And because. He hesitated. Because your ex-husband is right. I do want something from you. But it's not ownership. It's hope. Lily's defenses cracked. Not broke, she wasn't that naive, but cracked. 1 week, she whispered. 1 week. And if I hate it, I walk. You walk. I promise. She studied him. Looked for the lie, the manipulation, the hidden angle. Found only exhaustion that mirrored her own. Okay. The word felt like jumping off a cliff. But I want it in writing. Contract. Legal. Everything spelled out.
Done.
My lawyers can have it ready by morning. And my mother gets moved to a private room. Best care available. Already assumed. And you stop investigating me behind my back. Owen went still. You heard about that. Tommy told me. You had someone asking questions about me. About buying the diner. I'm sorry. He ran a hand through his hair. I wasn't trying to invade your privacy. I was trying to understand. After I tasted your food, I couldn't stop thinking about it. About you. I needed to know if you had training, background, anything that would explain. Explain why some broke waitress could do what your Michelin star chefs couldn't. Yes. The admission was stark. Because it doesn't make sense. Nothing about this makes sense, and I've built my entire life on things making sense. Lily understood that. The need for logic when everything felt like chaos. I dropped out of culinary school, she said quietly. 6 years ago. Before I finished the program, Derek convinced me it was a waste. That I wasn't talented enough. So I quit. Worked regular jobs. Forgot I'd ever wanted more. She looked away. Then he became the thing I was surviving instead of the person I was building a life with. And by the time I got out, I had nothing left. No degree. No portfolio. No proof I'd ever been anything other than what he said I was. He was wrong. Owen's voice was fierce. You know that, right? He was wrong about all of it. Was he? I'm 29 and living in a room above a diner. You're 29 and you just performed a medical miracle with scrambled eggs. Despite everything, Lily felt a laugh bubble up, sharp and surprised. That's the most insane sentence I've ever heard. Welcome to my life right now. A small smile touched Owen's lips. Nothing makes sense anymore. I've just decided to accept it. The tension between them shifted, still present, but different. Less adversarial. More something else. Lily's phone buzzed. Another message from Derek.
Derek, TikTok sweetheart.
Hospital's waiting.
So am I.
Her hands clenched. Owen noticed. What is it? Nothing. Just Derek being Derek. She silenced the phone. Lily, if he's threatening you, he's always threatening me. That's his hobby. She tried to make it sound light, but it came out bitter. I'm used to it. You shouldn't be.
Yeah, well.
Add it to the list of things that shouldn't be, but are. Owen was quiet for a moment. Then, I had someone like that. In my life. Someone who took something good and poisoned it. Lily looked up, surprised. Yeah. My ex-fiancé. Victoria. We built this company together, her vision, my execution. At least, that's what I thought. Turns out she was embezzling. Millions. Using my restaurants to launder money for her family's business.
His jaw tightened.
I found out 3 years ago, right before we were supposed to get married. Turned her in. Watched her get arrested. Did everything right. And that's when you stopped tasting food, Lily said softly. Yeah. He looked out at the rain. The betrayal wasn't just personal. It was everything I'd built my identity on was a lie. My palate, my instincts, my judgment, all of it failed. I couldn't trust myself. And somewhere in that spiral, my brain just shut down. Stopped letting me feel pleasure. Stopped letting me taste. Punishment, Lily murmured.
What?
Your brain was punishing you. for not seeing her, for failing. She understood it viscerally. I do it too. Every time I think about cooking something that matters, I hear Derek's voice telling me I'll fail.
So, I don't try.
Punishment for being stupid enough to believe him in the first place. Their eyes met. Recognition passed between them. Two people who'd let betrayal carve out pieces of themselves. We're a mess, Owen said quietly. Spectacular disasters, Lily agreed. And yet, somehow, your food reached me. I don't understand why. Neither do I. But I want to find out. Lily took a breath. Okay. 1 week. I'll cook for you. We'll figure out your weird taste bud thing. You pay my mom's bills. Then we go our separate ways.
Deal.
He extended his hand. Lily looked at it, at the offer, the risk, the terrifying possibility of hope, and shook it. His grip was warm.
Solid.
It made her feel anchored instead of adrift, and that was almost more frightening than the desperation. I'll have my assistant contact Memorial General immediately, Owen said, already pulling out his phone. Your mother will have the best care available by morning. Thank you. The words felt inadequate. I mean it. Thank you. Thank you. His voice was soft. For trusting me. I know it's not easy. It wasn't. Every instinct screamed danger. But Lily had spent 2 years playing it safe, staying small, surviving instead of living. Maybe it was time to take a different kind of risk. When do I start? She asked. Owen checked his watch. How's 7 a.m. sound? You're kidding. I'm serious. The test kitchen is 3 floors down. State-of-the-art equipment. Anything you need. I want to see what you can do when you're not limited by diner inventory. Lily's pulse quickened. Fear and excitement warred in her chest. A real kitchen. Professional equipment. Permission to create. I don't have recipes, she warned. I just cook. By instinct. That's exactly what I want to see. And if I fail? If your tasting doesn't work with other dishes? Then we try again. Owen's gaze was steady. I'm not expecting perfection, Lily. I'm expecting you. Something in her chest loosened. Cracked open. Let in the smallest sliver of light. Okay, she whispered. 7 a.m. I'll have a car pick you up. I can take the bus.
Lily.
Let me do this. Please. She wanted to argue. Wanted to maintain independence, control. All the things Derek had taken from her. But she was so tired of fighting everything alone.
Fine.
But I'm bringing my own knives. Owen smiled. A real one this time, reaching his eyes. I wouldn't have it any other way. Lily left Wolf Tower at 3 in the morning with a contract being drafted, a promise being fulfilled, and a week of her life signed away to a man she barely knew. She should be terrified. Instead, walking through the rain back toward the diner, she felt something she hadn't felt in years.
Possibility. Her phone rang.
Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello. Lily. Derek's voice. We need to talk. I have nothing to say to you. Really? Because I just heard something interesting. About you and Owen Wolf. About some arrangement you've made. Ice flooded her veins. How? I have friends, sweetheart. People who keep me informed. And I'm very interested in what a billionaire wants with my wife. Ex-wife. Semantics. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to end whatever deal you made with him. You're going to come home where you belong. And if you don't...
He paused. Well.
Let's just say your mother's not the only one whose safety I can influence. The line went dead. Lily stood frozen in the rain, her moment of hope evaporating. Derek wasn't going to let her go. He never had. And now she dragged Owen into it. She thought about calling him, warning him. But what would she say? My psychotic ex-husband is threatening us both. But don't worry, I'm sure it's fine?
No.
She'd handled Derek herself, like she always had. But as she climbed the stairs to her tiny room above the diner, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that she'd just traded one impossible situation for another. And that in 7 days, everything was going to come crashing down. The test kitchen was a cathedral of stainless steel and possibility. Lily stood in the center of it at 6:45 a.m., 15 minutes early, heart hammering as she took it all in. Professional-grade range with 8 burners. Double convection ovens. A sous vide setup that cost more than a car. Shelves lined with ingredients she'd only dreamed about. Saffron, white truffles, aged balsamic that probably cost $100 per drop. This was what she'd imagined culinary school would lead to. Before Derek. Before she learned to make herself small. "You're early." Owen's voice made her jump. He stood in the doorway with 2 coffee cups, looking unfairly put together for someone who'd probably slept as little as she had. Charcoal suit, silver tie, but his eyes were hungry. Not for her, at least she didn't think so, but for whatever she might create. "Couldn't sleep," Lily admitted. "Me neither." He offered her a coffee. "I kept thinking about what you might make." She accepted it, their fingers brushing. The contact sent an unexpected jolt through her. She stepped back quickly. "So, what do you want? Breakfast? Lunch? Some experimental tasting menu?" "Whatever calls to you." Owen settled onto a stool at the counter. "Cook what you feel." "That's not a very specific brief." "I don't want specific. I want you." He caught himself. "Your instinct. Whatever it is that makes your food different." Lily set down the coffee and approached the range like it might bite. What did she feel? Terrified. Hopeful. Off balance. Like she was standing on the edge of something that would either save her or destroy her. Her hands moved without conscious thought. She pulled ingredients: eggs, butter, cream, fresh herbs. Started making an omelet, then stopped. Too simple. Too safe. She put them back and reached for something else.
Flour. Vanilla.
The aged balsamic. Her mind began layering flavors, textures, memories. "Tell me about your mother," Owen said quietly. Lily's hands paused. "Why?" "Because when you talk about her, your voice changes. And I think she's connected to why you cook the way you do." He was right. He was too perceptive, and it made her nervous. "Her name is Rosemary," Lily said, measuring flour. "She's a nurse. Was a nurse. Before the cancer. She used to work double shifts at Memorial General, then come home and cook these feasts. Like, cooking was how she decompressed. How she showed love." "That's where you learned." "Not formally. She never taught me, exactly. I just watched. Absorbed. Started doing it myself." Lily's hands worked automatically, creaming butter and sugar, the rhythm soothing. "When I got into culinary school, she was so proud. First person in our family to pursue cooking professionally. And then you met Derek." The name was acid in the air. "Yeah." Lily cracked eggs with more force than necessary. "He was older. Successful. Made me feel safe, I guess. Special. Then once we were married, he started chipping away. Culinary school is expensive. You're not even that good. Why waste money on a pipe dream?" And I believed him. I quit.
Got a regular job.
Stopped cooking anything that mattered. "Lily, I know. I was stupid.
Weak.
I let him." "You survived," Owen interrupted firmly. "That's not weakness. That's strength." She looked up, surprised by the intensity in his voice. "Victoria did the same thing to me," he continued. "Different tactics, same result. She made me doubt myself. My instincts. My judgment. And by the time I realized what she was, she'd already hollowed me out from the inside." Their eyes met across the kitchen. Understanding arced between them like electricity. Lily turned back to her work, mixing ingredients with trembling hands. She was making madeleines, her mother's recipe, the one from the journal. Brown butter and lavender. Memory and hope baked into small, shell-shaped cakes. "When did your mother get sick?" Owen asked. 2 years ago. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. They gave her 6 months. Lily's voice caught. "But she's stubborn. She's still fighting. Still here." "That's where all your money went. Every cent. I'd do it again." She spooned batter into the madeleine pan with careful precision. "She's the only good thing I've ever done. The only person who never made me feel like I had to be smaller to fit into their world. The madeleines went into the oven. Lily set a timer and finally looked at Owen properly. He was watching her with an expression she couldn't quite read. Sadness, maybe. Or recognition.
What? She asked.
You cook like you're trying to save someone. The observation landed like a punch. Maybe I am. Who? Your mother? Yourself? Does it matter? Yes. Owen stood, moving closer. Because I think that's why your food reaches me. You put everything into it. All the pain, all the love, all the desperate hope that maybe if you make something beautiful enough, it'll fix what's broken. And I taste that. The emotion. The trying. Lily's throat tightened. That's insane. Is it? You said yourself, food without feeling is just fuel. Well, your food is full of feeling. It's practically vibrating with it. And that's what broke through your condition? My emotional damage? Maybe.
He was close now, just a few feet away.
Or maybe it's simpler than that. Maybe your food tastes like someone who understands what it's like to lose themselves. The timer went off. Lily pulled the madeleines from the oven, grateful for the distraction. They were perfect. Golden brown, the scent of butter and lavender filling the kitchen with something that felt like home. She plated one and slid it across to Owen. He picked it up carefully, like it was precious, took a bite, and closed his eyes. When he opened them again, they were wet. That's... He stopped. Started again. Lily, that tastes like childhood. Like safety. Like everything good before life got complicated. That's my mom's recipe, Lily whispered. She used to make them for me when I was upset. Called them worry cakes. Said they could absorb all your anxiety and make it sweet. They're perfect. They're just madeleines. I understand you're compromised. Again, just like with Victoria. The name hung in the air like poison. Lily saw Owen flinch. This is nothing like Victoria, he said quietly. Isn't it? Strange woman appears out of nowhere. You become obsessed. Start making irrational financial decisions. How long before we find out she's been playing you this whole time? I'm standing right here, Lily said coldly. Isabel turned to her. Then explain. What's your angle? What do you want from him? I want my mother to live. That's it. And in exchange, I cook. 1 week. Then I'm gone. Isabel's eyes narrowed. You expect me to believe you're doing this out of the goodness of your heart. I expect you to mind your own business. This company is my business. And Owen's instability threatens everything we've built. Isabel. Owen's voice was steel. My office.
Now. Fine.
But she goes. Isabel pointed at Lily. I want her out of this building in 10 minutes, or I'm calling security. She left in a hurricane of expensive perfume and fury. Owen turned to Lily, anguished. I'm sorry. She's protective. The company means everything to her. More than you do, apparently. Lily started untying her apron.
Wait.
Don't go.
Please.
I'll handle Isabel.
How?
She's your business partner. She clearly thinks I'm some kind of con artist. You're not. Aren't I? Lily's laugh was bitter. I showed up at 2 a.m. demanding money. That's literally what con artists do. Lily. Maybe she's right. Maybe this is insane. Maybe I should just...
Her phone rang.
Hospital number. She answered with shaking hands. Hello. Ms. Bennett? This is Dr. Patel. I'm calling about your mother. Lily's world narrowed to a pinpoint. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Actually, I'm calling with remarkable news. We received payment in full this morning, along with authorization for an experimental treatment protocol we've been wanting to try. And your mother, Ms. Bennett, she's responding. She's awake and asking for you. The kitchen tilted. She's what?
Awake.
Alert. Stronger than she's been in months. I don't want to call it a miracle, but it's close. Can you come to the hospital?
Yes.
Yes, I'm coming right now. She hung up, staring at nothing. Lily. Owen's voice was gentle. What happened? My mom. She's awake. She's better. Tears spilled over. The treatment you paid for, it's working. That's incredible. I have to go. I have to see her. Of course. I'll have James drive you.
No.
Lily wiped her eyes. I mean, thank you. But I need a minute to process. She started for the door, then stopped. Owen. Yeah. Thank you. For my mother. For believing in me. For. She couldn't finish. Too many emotions, all crashing together. You don't have to thank me. I do. Because nobody's ever, her voice broke. Nobody's ever fought for me before. Not like this. She left before he could respond, before the tears became sobs. Lily sat by her mother's hospital bed 2 hours later, holding her hand, still not quite believing she was real. Rosemary Bennett looked thin and pale, but her eyes were clear.
Alive.
Baby girl, she whispered. You look exhausted. Lily laughed through tears. You're lecturing me about rest? Mom, you've been unconscious for 3 days. Then, I'm well rested. You're not. Rosemary squeezed her hand weakly. Tell me what's happening. The nurses said someone paid for everything. Some treatment from Seattle. It's complicated. Is it a man? Lily's face flushed. How did you have that look?
Confused. Scared.
A little bit hopeful. Rosemary smiled. I know that look. I wore it when I met your father. It's not like that. It's business. He needed a chef, I needed money. Simple transaction. Nothing involving feelings is ever simple, sweetheart. I don't have feelings for him. I didn't say you did. I said it's not simple. Rosemary studied her. What's his name?
Owen.
Owen Wolf. The restaurant mogul? Lily. I know. It's insane. But Mom, he's different. He's not like Derek. He doesn't want to own me or control me. He wants me to cook. And when I do, something happens. He can taste again. And I feel like. She stopped, searching for words. Like maybe I'm not broken. Like maybe all those years with Derek didn't erase who I was supposed to be. Rosemary's eyes softened.
Oh, sweetheart.
You were never broken. Just bent. And bent things can straighten themselves out. I'm scared. Of him. Of hoping. Of trusting. Of believing this might actually work. Then don't believe. Just cook. Let the rest figure itself out. Lily leaned her head on her mother's shoulder, careful not to disturb the 4 lines. I've missed you so much, she whispered. I'm here now. And I'm not going anywhere. Rosemary stroked her hair. But Lily, whatever you're doing with this Owen, be careful. Rich men make big promises. Make sure he keeps them. He already has. You're here. You're alive. That's enough. Is it? Lily didn't answer.
Couldn't.
Because somewhere in the past few days, Owen Wolf had become more than a business arrangement. And that terrified her more than anything Derek had ever done. Owen sat in his office, staring at the city, replaying the moment Lily had left. Nobody's ever fought for me before. The words haunted him. She's using you. Isabel stood in the doorway. You know that, right? She's not. How do you know? Because she makes good eggs? Owen, listen to yourself. I am listening. For the first time in 3 years, I'm actually listening. He turned to face her. When I eat her food, I taste things I haven't tasted since Victoria. But it's different. It's not about perfection or technique. It's about emotion. About someone who cooks like it matters. So she's a good cook. Hire her for one of the restaurants.
Pay her a salary.
But this obsession. It's not obsession. Then what is it? Owen was quiet for a long moment. Hope, he said finally. It's hope that maybe I'm not permanently broken. That maybe there's a way back to who I used to be. Isabel's expression softened slightly. Owen, I'm worried about you. I know. Victoria nearly destroyed this company. Nearly destroyed you. And now you're doing the same pattern. Trusting someone you barely know, making financial decisions based on emotion, letting yourself get vulnerable. Maybe that's the point. Owen met her eyes. Maybe I need to be vulnerable. Maybe that's the only way to heal. Or maybe it's the way to get hurt again. Maybe. But I'm willing to take that risk. Isabel shook her head. Then I can't stop you. But I'm going on record. This is a mistake. And when it blows up in your face, don't say I didn't warn you. She left. Owen pulled out his phone and opened a text thread. Maya, thank you. For my mom. For everything. I'll be back tomorrow. We still have 5 days left. He stared at the message for a long time before responding. Ethan, take all the time you need. Your mother comes first. Maya, the deal was 1 week. I don't break my promises. Ethan, neither do I. He set down the phone and allowed himself a small smile. 5 more days with Lily Bennett. 5 more days to understand why her food tasted like salvation. 5 more days to figure out why, for the first time since Victoria, he felt like he might actually want to trust someone again. In a dark car parked across from Memorial General, Derek watched Lily leave the hospital. He'd followed her here, watched her cry, watched her smile, and he'd made a decision. Lily belonged to him.
She always had.
And Owen Wolf was just another obstacle to remove. He pulled out his phone and dialed a number. It's me. I need information on Owen Wolf. Everything. Business, personal, weaknesses. And I need it fast. A pause. Because I'm about to remind my wife who she really belongs to. He hung up and smiled. This was going to be fun. Day 4 in the test kitchen, and Lily had started to believe. Not in fairy tales or rescue fantasies, but in herself. In the way her hands moved through ingredients with growing confidence. In the dishes she created, each one better than the last, each one drawing stronger reactions from Owen. Yesterday, she'd made Coke oven that made him cry. This morning, fresh croissants that made him laugh. Actual, surprised laughter that transformed his whole face. I'd forgotten, he'd said, holding the pastry like treasure. I'd forgotten that food could be joyful. And Lily had felt something dangerous bloom in her chest. Something that felt like happiness. They'd fallen into a rhythm. She cooked. He tasted. They talked about food, about their pasts, about the strange miracle happening between them. And slowly, carefully, Lily's walls had started coming down. Tell me something true, Owen said now, watching her dice vegetables with precise, efficient movements. What kind of question is that? The kind where you stop hiding. His voice was gentle. You've spent 4 days cooking your heart out. I want to know what's in it. Lily's hands paused. That's terrifying.
I know. Tell me anyway. She took a breath.
I'm starting to remember who I was. Before Derek. Before I learned to make myself small. I'm remembering that I'm actually good at this. And it's... Her voice caught. It's like coming back to life. Owen was quiet for a long moment. I know that feeling.
Do you?
Is it working? The taste thing? It's more than working. He stood, moving closer. Lily, every dish you make, I taste more.
Feel more.
It's like my brain is rewiring itself, remembering how to experience pleasure. Because of my emotional damage? She tried to make it a joke. Because of your heart. He was close now, close enough that she could see gold flecks in his eyes. You cook like every dish matters. Like every ingredient is precious. And somehow, my brain recognizes that. Responds to it. That's insane. Probably. A small smile. But I'm grateful anyway. Their eyes locked. The air between them charged with something neither of them was ready to name. Lily's phone shattered the moment. Unknown number. Her stomach clenched. Derek had been quiet for 3 days, which meant he was planning something. I should answer it, Owen said quietly.
She did.
Hello. Lily Bennett? An unfamiliar voice. Professional.
Cold.
This is Jennifer Park from the State Medical Board. I'm calling about a complaint filed against Memorial General Hospital regarding your mother's treatment. Ice flooded Lily's veins. What complaint? A Derek Walker filed a report claiming that payment for Rosemary Bennett's care came from questionable sources. He's alleging potential fraud and requesting an investigation into the hospital's financial practices. That's insane. The payment was legitimate. I'm sure it was. But until we complete our investigation, we're required to freeze all related accounts and suspend treatment pending review. The world tilted. You can't do that. My mother needs that treatment. She'll die without it. I understand this is difficult, but we have protocols. The investigation should take 72 hours. If everything checks out, treatment will resume. 72 hours? She doesn't have 72 hours. I'm sorry, Miss Bennett. My hands are tied. The line went dead. Lily stared at her phone, unable to breathe. This was Derek's move. His revenge for her defiance. He couldn't control her, so he'd attack the one thing she couldn't defend. Lily. Owen's voice seemed to come from far away. What happened? Derek. He filed a complaint. They're suspending my mom's treatment. They think she couldn't finish.
Couldn't say it.
They think I paid with dirty money. Owen's voice was grim. He's weaponizing my past. Victoria's embezzlement. This is my fault. I should never have involved you. I should have. This is Derek's fault, not yours. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. My mother's going to die because I trusted the wrong person. The words came out harsher than she meant, but panic was clawing at her throat. Owen flinched. Lily, I need to fix this. I need to. She grabbed her bag, her phone, moving toward the door with no plan except escape.
Wait.
Let me help. I'll call my lawyers. We can. Your lawyers are part of the problem. Don't you see? Your money, your connections, your help, it's all poison. Derek's using it against me, against my mother. Then we'll fight him. Together. There is no together. Lily's voice cracked. There's you in your tower, playing with your test kitchens and your trauma. And there's me, drowning in debt and bad decisions, dragging everyone down with me. You don't mean that. Don't I? Look at what's happened in 4 days. You paid my bills, Derek attacked. You hired me, your business partner thinks I'm a con artist. Everything I touch turns to poison, Owen. And I won't let that include you. She was at the door now, running, fleeing. Lily, please. She looked back, saw something raw in his face that mirrored the chaos in her chest. I'm sorry, she whispered, but I can't do this. Any of this. I'm done. She left before he could stop her. Before she could see the devastation in his eyes. Lily made it to the elevator before the tears came. She'd failed. Again. Just like Derek always said she would. Her phone buzzed. Derek, bet you're regretting leaving me now. This all goes away if you come home. Your mother gets her treatment. Owen Wolf stays out of legal trouble. All you have to do is be a good girl and come back where you belong. Her hands shook so hard, she nearly dropped the phone. He'd orchestrated everything. The complaint, the investigation, the impossible choice. Another text. Derek, you have 24 hours. After that, I make things much worse. For everyone. The elevator doors opened. Lily stumbled out into the lobby and straight into Isabel Torres. Well. Isabel's voice was ice. Leaving already? I'm shocked. Get out of my way. I warned him, you know. Told him you were just like Victoria. Another beautiful liar who'd take everything and leave him bleeding. You don't know anything about me, don't I? Isabel stepped closer. Let me guess. Your ex is making trouble. Things got complicated. And instead of fighting, you're running. Proving me right. I'm protecting him. By breaking his heart? By confirming every fear Victoria planted in him. Isabel's laugh was cruel. You're not protecting him. You're destroying him. Just like she did. The words hit like bullets. I'm not. You are. And, the worst part? He'll blame himself. He'll think he failed you somehow. That he wasn't enough. Again. Isabel's voice dropped. So, congratulations, Lily. You just did in 4 days what it took Victoria 3 years to accomplish. You reminded Owen Wolf that he can't trust anyone. She walked away, leaving Lily alone in the lobby with those words echoing. You reminded Owen Wolf that he can't trust anyone. Was that what she'd done? In trying to protect him, had she just confirmed his worst fears? Lily's phone rang. The hospital. Ms. Bennett? This is Dr. Patel. Your mother's asking for you. She's taken a turn. You should come now. Lily sat by her mother's bed 3 hours later, watching machines breathe for her. The suspension of treatment had triggered a cascade. Rosemary's body, briefly revived by the experimental protocol, had collapsed without it. Now she was back on life support. Unconscious. Slipping away. I'm sorry, Lily whispered, holding her mother's hand. I'm so sorry. I thought I could fix this. I thought if I just tried hard enough, worked hard enough, I could save you. But I can't. I can't save anyone. Her mother didn't respond. Couldn't. The machines beeped their steady rhythm. The sound of time running out. Lily's phone buzzed. Derek. Clock's ticking, sweetheart. 18 hours left. Make the right choice. She stared at the message. At her mother. At the ruins of her life. Derek would win. He always did. Unless. Lily pulled out Owen's business card, crumpled now, worn from being carried in her pocket. She could call him. Ask for help one more time. Let him fight her battles. But Isabel's words haunted her. You reminded Owen Wolf that he can't trust anyone. She'd already hurt him. Already run. Already proved she was exactly what Isabel thought she was. Damaged. Unreliable. Poison to everyone she touched. Calling him now would just make it worse. Lily put the card away and made a different call. Derek. There's my girl. Ready to come home. Every word was acid. If I do this, if I come back, you drop the complaint. My mother gets her treatment. And you leave Owen Wolf alone. Completely. Of course. I'm a reasonable man. Swear it. On something that matters to you. I swear on our marriage. Which still matters to me, even if it doesn't to you. His voice oozed false sincerity. Come home, Lily. Where you belong. She closed her eyes. Felt the trap close around her. I need 24 hours. To say goodbye. To end things properly. You have 12. I want you home by midnight tomorrow. And Lily. His voice hardened. If you run, if you try anything clever, I'll make sure your mother spends her last days in county hospice. Alone. Do we understand each other? Yes. Good girl. He hung up. Lily sat in the darkness, holding her dying mother's hand, and felt the last piece of hope crumble to ash. She'd made her choice. In 12 hours, she'd go back to Derek. Back to the prison of her old life. Back to being small and silent and safe. And Owen would move on. Find another chef. Eventually recover without her. It was better this way. Cleaner. She was saving him from the wreckage of her life. Even if it killed her to do it. Owen stood in the empty test kitchen at midnight, staring at the Madeline Lily had made that morning. She'd left it behind. Left everything behind. And he'd let her go. A coward, he told himself. You let her walk away because you were afraid. Afraid she'd turn out like Victoria. Afraid to fight for what you wanted. His phone rang. Isabel. She's going back to him. Isabel said without preamble. What? Lily. I have a contact at the hospital. She called Derek. Made some kind of deal. She's going back to her ex-husband. The world stopped. No. She wouldn't. She already has. It's over, Owen. She made her choice. Because he's threatening her. Because I wasn't, his voice broke. I wasn't enough. I couldn't protect her. You tried. She rejected it. That's on her, not you. But Owen knew the truth. Lily hadn't rejected his help. She'd been terrified of it. Terrified of trusting. Terrified of hoping. Just like him. And he'd let his own fear stop him from fighting for her. I have to do something, he said. Like what? She doesn't want your help. Then I'll give her something else. His mind raced. I'll give her a reason to stay. Owen, don't do this. Don't make the same mistake. He hung up. 12 hours. That's what Lily had bought herself. 12 hours to find a way to save her from a monster who'd already taken too much. 12 hours to prove that sometimes broken people could save each other. He grabbed his coat and headed for the door. He'd lost one woman to his fear and hesitation. He wasn't losing Lily, too. Lily sat in the hospital chapel at 3 a.m., surrounded by silence and the ghosts of prayers she didn't know how to say. 10 hours until Derek came to collect her. 10 hours of freedom left. She should be packing, planning, preparing herself mentally for a return to captivity. Instead, she was staring at her mother's recipe journal, open to a page she'd memorized years ago. Rosemary's emergency chocolate cake. For when everything falls apart and you need something sweet to remember joy exists. Her mother had made it 3 times that Lily could remember. Once when Lily's father left. Once when Lily's high school boyfriend broke her heart. Once the night before Lily's wedding to Derek, though neither of them had acknowledged why it felt like an emergency then. Lily traced the handwriting, loops and curves that looked like her mother, sounded like her mother, were her mother in ways that transcended the dying body upstairs. "You taught me that food is love," Lily whispered to the empty chapel. "That cooking with care matters. That putting your heart into something makes it real." Her voice cracked. "But you never taught me what to do when love isn't enough. When care can't save anyone. When your heart gets you trapped by men who use it against you." The journal didn't answer. Couldn't. But as Lily sat there, something shifted inside her. A memory. Sharp and vivid. She was 7 years old, watching her mother cook after a brutal double shift. Rosemary's hands had been shaking with exhaustion, but she'd still made dinner, nothing fancy, just pasta and sauce, and Lily had asked, "Why do you cook when you're so tired?" Her mother had smiled. "Because, baby girl, sometimes the only power you have is the power to create something good. And that's enough. That has to be enough." Lily closed the journal slowly. The only power you have is the power to create something good. She'd been running. From Derek. From Owen. From herself. Running because she felt powerless, because strong men had convinced her she was weak, because every time she tried to fight she ended up more broken. But her mother had never run. Even now, dying in a hospital bed, Rosemary Bennett was fighting. Still here. Still breathing. Still stubborn enough to survive when doctors said it was impossible. Lily stood up, something fierce and unfamiliar burning in her chest. She wasn't her mother, but she was her mother's daughter. And she was done running. Owen hadn't slept. He'd spent the night in his office with his lawyers, investigators, and anyone else who could find leverage against Derek Walker. "There has to be something," he said for the 100th time. "A pattern of abuse. Restraining order violations. Financial crimes. Something." His lead attorney, Michael, looked exhausted. "Mr. Wolf, we've been through this. Derek Walker is clean. No arrests. No convictions. The restraining order expired. And the complaint he filed with the medical board is technically legitimate. He's questioning the source of funds, which is his right as the patient's former son-in-law. He's manipulating the system. Probably. But manipulation isn't illegal." Owen slammed his hand on the desk. "So what? Lily just goes back to him? We do nothing. We keep investigating. But right now, we don't have grounds for legal action." "Then find some." Michael exchanged a glance with the other lawyers. "Mr. Wolf, may I speak candidly? Please. This isn't about the law anymore. This is personal. And you can't solve personal problems with legal strategies." "Then what do I solve them with?" "Honesty. Vulnerability. The things that actually matter to people." Michael started gathering his papers. "You can't buy Lily's freedom. You have to help her claim it herself." They left. Owen sat alone in his office as dawn broke over the city, turning everything gold and new. Help Lily claim her freedom herself. But how? She'd made it clear she didn't want his help. Didn't trust it. Saw it as another form of control. Unless an idea sparked. Fragile and terrifying. Owen grabbed his phone and made a call. "Isabel? I need the test kitchen prepared. Full staff. Camera crew. And contact every major food publication in the city." "What?" "Owen, it's 6 a.m. I know what time it is. Can you do this or not?" A pause. "What are you planning?" "Something that will either save Lily or destroy me." He took a breath. "Probably both." "Owen, do you trust me?" "That's a complicated question. Do you trust that I know what I'm doing?" Another pause.
No.
But I trust that you care about her.
So yes.
I'll make the calls. Thank you. He hung up and sent a text to Lily. Ethan, I know you think you have to face Derek alone. You don't. Meet me at the test kitchen at noon.
I want to show you something.
No pressure. No expectations. Just please come.
Give me 1 hour.
Then you can make whatever choice you need to make. He hit send before he could second-guess himself. Then he waited. Lily's phone buzzed at 6:47 a.m. She stared at Owen's message for a long time. Her first instinct was to ignore it, to maintain distance, to protect him from the wreckage of her life. But something about the message felt different. Not demanding, not rescuing, just asking.
Give me 1 hour.
She looked at her mother's journal, at the chapel around her, at the choice ahead. Derek expected her at midnight. That gave her 17 hours. One of those hours for Owen felt like the least she owed him. After running, after breaking his trust, after falling halfway in love with him without meaning to, she typed a response. Maya, 1 hour. Then I have things I need to handle. Ethan, that's all I'm asking.
Thank you.
Lily stood and walked back to her mother's room. Rosemary was still unconscious, still fighting. The machines breathed for her, steady and mechanical. Lily kissed her forehead. I'm going to fix this, Mom.
I don't know how yet.
But I'm done being helpless. I'm done letting fear make my decisions. She left the hospital as the sun rose, feeling something she hadn't felt in years. Determination. The test kitchen at noon looked different. Lights had been set up. Cameras. A handful of people Lily didn't recognize, reporters, maybe, or food critics, all watching her with curious eyes. Lily's stomach clenched. What is this? Owen stood by the counter, wearing an apron, looking nervous in a way she'd never seen him. This, he said quietly, is me trusting you, the way I should have from the beginning. I don't understand. I've spent 4 days trying to figure out why your food breaks through my condition. Running tests. Analyzing technique. Treating you like a problem to solve instead of a person to trust. He stepped closer. I was wrong. So I'm stopping. No more investigations. No more treating you like a miracle cure. Instead, I'm going to do something I should have done days ago. What? Give you a platform. He gestured at the cameras. These are food journalists, critics, bloggers, people who can tell your story. Not mine. Yours. Lily's heart hammered. Owen, I can't. Yes, you can. I've spent the morning making calls. There's a spot opening at Le Bernardin next month. Executive pastry chef. They want someone who cooks with emotion, not just technique. I told them about you. You what? I also called Daniel Hum at 11 Madison Park. And Dominique Crenn. And Nancy Silverton. Every chef I know who values heart over pedigree. His voice was steady. I told them about a cook who makes food that tastes like memory, like love, like everything good about why we eat. Tears burned Lily's eyes. Why are you doing this? Because you were right. I can't save you. Only you can do that. But I can give you options. I can make sure that when you choose your future, it's from a place of power instead of desperation. I don't have a future. I made a deal with Derek. Screw Derek. Owen's voice was fierce. Screw his complaints and his manipulation and his need to own you. You're talented, Lily. Genuinely, brilliantly talented. And if the world knows that, if they see you, then you don't need his permission or my money or anyone's rescue. You have your own power. Lily stared at him, at the cameras, at the impossible possibility he was offering. What if I fail? You won't. You don't know that. I do. Because I've tasted your food. I've watched you cook. And Lily Bennett, you are not someone who fails. You're someone who rises. He held out his hand. So rise.
Right now.
Show them what you can do. She looked at his hand. At the choice. Behind her was Derek. Safety through surrender. A known hell. Ahead was uncertainty. Risk. The terrifying possibility of being seen. Lily thought of her mother. Of sometimes the only power you have is the power to create something good. She took Owen's hand. His fingers closed around hers. Warm, solid, real. "What do you want me to make?" she whispered. "Anything that matters to you." Lily turned to the kitchen, to the cameras, to the watching eyes. And for the first time in 6 years, she cooked without fear. She made her mother's emergency chocolate cake. Not following the recipe exactly, her hands moved on instinct, adding espresso and sea salt, swirling in brown butter ganache, plating it with gold leaf and fresh raspberries. It was more than cake. It was memory and defiance, and hope baked into something beautiful. The journalists watched in silence. Owen watched with something that looked like awe. When she finished, Lily plated 7 portions and served them. The first critic took a bite and went still. "Oh my God," she whispered. "This tastes like childhood. Like every good thing before life got complicated." Another, "There's grief in this, but also joy." "How did you?" "It's my mother's recipe," Lily said quietly. "She's dying. This is how she taught me to remember that sweetness still exists, even when everything falls apart." The room was silent. Then one of the journalists started typing furiously. Another pulled out her phone to take pictures. A third asked, "Where have you been cooking? Why haven't we heard of you?" "I've been hiding," Lily admitted. "From an abusive ex-husband who convinced me I wasn't good enough. From my own fear. From believing I deserved to take up space in the world. And now..." Owen's voice was soft. Lily looked at him. At the man who'd given her this moment. This choice. "Now I'm done hiding." Applause broke out, small but genuine. The journalists swarmed her with questions. Business cards. Offers to feature her story. Lily answered them in a daze, barely believing this was real. When they finally left, she was alone with Owen in the kitchen. "Thank you," she whispered. "You did that yourself. I just made some calls. You gave me a reason to fight. That's everything." They stood close, the air between them charged. "Lily, what you said earlier. About going back to Derek. You can't. You know that, right? I don't have a choice. He'll destroy my mother's treatment. We'll find another way. Another hospital. Another treatment. I'll pay." "Owen, no. I can't keep letting you. It's not letting me do anything. It's accepting help from someone who..."
He stopped.
Started again.
"From someone who cares about you.
Who wants you to be safe. Who can't imagine a world where you disappear back into that monster's life."
Why?
Her voice was barely audible. "Why do you care this much? Because when I taste your food, I don't just taste flavor. I taste you. Your heart. Your strength. Your refusal to give up even when everything's broken." He stepped closer. "And somewhere in the past 4 days, that became the most important thing in my world." Lily's breath caught. "I'm terrified," she admitted. "Of what?" "Of trusting this. Of trusting you. Of believing that maybe someone could want me without trying to own me." "I don't want to own you, Lily. I want to stand beside you while you own yourself." The words cracked something open in her chest. She kissed him. Not thinking, not planning, just reaching for him like he was air, and she was drowning. He responded immediately, pulling her close, kissing her like she was precious and powerful and exactly what he'd been searching for. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Lily whispered, "I'm still terrified." "Me too." Owen rested his forehead against hers. "But maybe we can be terrified together." Lily's phone shattered the moment.
"Derek, saw some interesting photos online.
You and your billionaire. Very cozy. I'm moving up our timeline. You have 2 hours. Be at our old apartment or your mother's treatment ends permanently. Your choice." Ice flooded her veins. Owen saw her face change. "What?" "He knows."
About this.
"About us. She couldn't breathe. "He's giving me 2 hours. Then we call the police. And tell them what? That my ex-husband filed a legitimate complaint and is now asking me to meet him? They'll do nothing." "Lily, I have to go." She was already moving, grabbing her jacket. "If I don't, he'll kill my mother's treatment out of spite." "Then I'm coming with you." "Absolutely not."
Why?
Because Derek is dangerous when he's cornered. And I won't let you. Let me. Owen's voice was steel. Lily, I'm not asking permission. You're walking into something that could hurt you. I'm not letting that happen. This isn't your fight. It is now. He grabbed his coat.
Because you matter to me.
Because I'm done being the person who stands aside while people I care about get hurt. Because he stopped. Met her eyes. Because I'm falling in love with you. And love means showing up. Even when it's terrifying. The words hung in the air. Lily stared at him, torn between fear and something that felt dangerously like hope. 2 hours, she whispered. Then we better hurry. The apartment building looked smaller than Lily remembered. Shabbier. Like returning to a childhood home and finding it diminished by time and truth. Derek's car was parked out front, waiting. Lily's hands trembled as Owen pulled up across the street. She'd lived here for 5 years. 5 years of walking on eggshells, of making herself smaller, of learning that love could be a weapon. I can still go in alone, she said quietly. Not a chance. Owen unbuckled his seatbelt. But Lily, this is your fight. I'm just backup. She looked at him. At the man who'd somehow become essential in less than a week. Who'd given her a platform instead of a cage. Who'd declared his love and then stepped back to let her lead. If things go wrong, they won't. But if they do, I need you to promise me something. She grabbed his hand. Don't let him make you doubt what we found. What we are. Derek's going to try. He'll say I used you, manipulated you, that this was all a con. And part of you will want to believe him, because of Victoria. Owen's jaw tightened. Lily, promise me. Promise you'll remember that what we have is real. He lifted her hand to his lips. Kissed her knuckles. I promise. Now, let's go end this. They walked to the building together. Lily's heart hammered with each step. Part terror, part rage, part something fiercer. The apartment was on the 3rd floor. Same door. Same welcome mat. Same prison she'd escaped 2 years ago. She knocked. Derek opened it immediately, like he'd been watching through the peephole. His smile was all charm and venom. There she is, right on time. His eyes slid to Owen. And you brought your boyfriend. How sweet. Let's just get this over with, Lily said. What do you want? You know what I want.
You.
Home. Where you belong. Derek stepped aside. Come in. We should discuss this privately. Anything you have to say, you can say in front of Owen. Suit yourself. Derek's smile widened. I've been doing some research on your billionaire. Fascinating history. The embezzlement scandal. The fiancé who stole millions. The fact that he hasn't been able to taste food in 3 years. He looked at Owen. Must be hard, running a restaurant empire when you can't enjoy the product. Get to the point, Owen said coldly. The point is, Lily here has a gift. A very marketable gift. She can make you taste again. Derek leaned against the doorframe. Which means she's valuable. Worth millions, probably. And since we're still legally married in the eyes of... We're divorced, Lily interrupted. The papers were finalized 18 months ago. Are you sure about that? Derek pulled out his phone, showed them a document. Because according to my lawyer, there was a filing error. The divorce was never properly registered. Which means, technically, we're still married. Which means any earnings you make, any contracts you sign, any billionaires who want to hire you, I get half. Lily felt the floor drop. That's not possible. I signed papers. I filed. You filed with the wrong county clerk. Easy mistake. But it means our marriage is still active. Derek's smile was triumphant. So here's the deal. You come home, we refile properly, I get my cut of whatever arrangement you have with Mr. Wolf, and I drop the complaint against your mother's hospital. Everyone wins. Everyone except Lily, Owen said quietly. Lily's my wife. What's good for me is good for her. I'm not your wife. Lily's voice shook. I'm not your anything. I left you. I built the life without you. And I'm not coming back. Then your mother dies. And I sue Owen Wolf for alienation of affection. And I make sure every restaurant, every food publication, every chef who is interested in you today knows that you're legally bound to me. Derek stepped closer. You had your little rebellion, sweetheart. It's over. Time to come home. Lily stared at him. At the man who'd spent years convincing her she was worthless. Who'd taken her dreams and twisted them into weapons. Who thought he could own her forever. And something inside her snapped. Not broke, ignited.
No.
Derek blinked.
What?
I said no. Lily's voice grew stronger. You want to sue Owen? Go ahead. You want to claim we're still married?
Fine.
We'll get lawyers. Real ones. Who'll find every legal loophole you've exploited and close them. You want to threaten my mother's care?
Do it.
Because Owen's already moved her to a private facility under his company's insurance. She's safe. You have no leverage there. Derek's smile faltered. You're bluffing. Am I? Lily pulled out her phone, showed him a text from Dr. Patel confirming the transfer. While you were busy scheming, we were busy acting. My mother's getting the best care available. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can't afford. I ask myself the same thing about you. He kissed her forehead. Come on. Let's go see your mom. Rosemary Bennett was awake when they arrived. Sitting up in bed, color in her cheeks, looking more alive than Lily had seen her in months. Baby girl. Her voice was weak, but clear. Look at you. You look fierce. Lily laughed through tears. I feel fierce. Mom, this is Owen. Owen Wolf. He's the billionaire who paid my hospital bills and apparently made my daughter remember she's a badass. Rosemary's eyes twinkled. I've heard a lot about you, Mr. Wolf. All terrible, I'm sure. Owen extended his hand. It's an honor to meet you, Mrs. Bennett. Call me Rosemary. And thank you. For my daughter. For believing in her. She looked at Lily. Now tell me everything. And don't leave out the part where you finally told Derek where to shove it. Lily sat beside her mother's bed and told the story. All of it. The diner, the eggs, Owen's condition, the deal, the cooking, the kiss, the confrontation. Rosemary listened with growing delight. So let me get this straight, she said when Lily finished. You can make food so emotionally powerful that it broke through a psychological condition doctors couldn't fix. And instead of using that to your advantage, this man gave you a platform to build your own career. That's yes. Essentially. And you're in love with him. Lily's face flushed. Mom, are you or aren't you? Lily looked at Owen, who was trying very hard to appear fascinated by the medical equipment. Yes, she admitted quietly. I am. Good. Rosemary smiled. Because he's clearly in love with you too. And watching you two pretend otherwise is exhausting. Owen laughed, surprised and genuine. You're very direct, Rosemary. I'm dying. I don't have time for subtlety. She reached for Lily's hand. Baby girl, I've watched you shrink yourself for years. First with Derek, then with fear. But today you stood tall. You fought. You won. I'm so proud of you. I couldn't have done it without Owen. Yes, you could have. You just didn't believe it yet. He just gave you a reason to try. Rosemary squeezed her hand. That's what love does. It doesn't fix you. It reminds you that you were never broken. Lily dissolved into tears. Owen discreetly stepped into the hallway to give them privacy. Mother and daughter held each other, crying and laughing, making up for lost time and borrowed moments. The treatment's working, Rosemary said eventually. Dr. Patel says I might have months instead of weeks. Maybe more. You're going to beat this. Maybe. Maybe not. But either way, I want you to promise me something. Anything. Stop running from happiness. From talent. From love. Stop letting fear make you small. Rosemary looked toward the door where Owen waited. That man out there?
He sees you. The real you.
Don't let that go, because you're scared. What if I mess it up? Then you mess it up. But at least you tried. At least you let yourself feel. Her mother's voice was fierce despite its weakness. Promise me, Lily. Promise you'll choose courage. I promise. Outside in the hallway, Owen's phone rang. Isabel, please tell me you didn't do anything stupid, she said without preamble. Define stupid. Owen. Lily confronted Derek. She was extraordinary. He tried to threaten her, and she shut him down completely. A pause. She did.
She did.
And I just watched. Supported her. But she didn't need saving. She saved herself. Another pause, longer this time. I may have misjudged her. You think. Don't get smug. I'm still concerned about the company implications. Isabel, the company will be fine. Better than fine. Because for the first time in 3 years, I actually care about food again. About cooking. About what we're building. He looked through the window at Lily and her mother. She gave that back to me. Not as a cure or a fix, but as a reminder of why it mattered in the first place. So what happens now? Now we figured out. Together. Lily and me. The company. All of it. You're really in love with her. Terrifyingly so. Isabel sighed. Then I'm happy for you. Cautiously. But genuinely. That's all I ask. He hung up as Lily emerged from the room, eyes red but smiling.
She's asking for you, Lily said.
She wants to interrogate you properly. Should I be nervous? Absolutely. Lily grabbed his hand. But I'll protect you. They walked back in together, and Rosemary's eyes lit up. So, Mr. Wolf, tell me your intentions toward my daughter. Owen didn't hesitate. To support her dreams. To stand beside her while she builds the life she deserves. And to love her as honestly as I know how. Good answer. Rosemary smiled. You have my blessing. Now get out of here, both of you.
Go celebrate. Go cook something.
Go be young and in love, and stop hovering over a dying woman. Mom. I'm not dying today, baby girl. And I want you to go live. Really live. For both of us. They left the hospital hand in hand, walking into the afternoon sun. So, Owen said, what do you want to do with the rest of your day? Lily considered. I want to cook. Not for cameras or critics or medical miracles. Just for us. For joy. Your place or mine?
Yours.
I want to see that fancy kitchen you've been hiding.
Deal.
They drove to Owen's penthouse. All windows and minimalism and a kitchen that made Lily's heart skip. She cooked without thinking. Pasta with brown butter and sage. Roasted vegetables. A simple salad. Food that tasted like celebration and new beginnings. Owen watched from the counter, and when she plated the pasta, he took a bite and smiled. Perfect, he said. Can you taste it? Really taste it. Every note. Every flavor. He set down his fork. But Lily, I don't think it was ever about the food. What do you mean? I think my brain shut down because I'd lost faith in joy. In trust. In believing anything good could last. He stood, moved toward her. And you didn't fix my palate. You fixed my hope. You reminded me that vulnerability isn't weakness. That opening yourself to something beautiful is worth the risk. Lily's breath caught. Owen. I love you, Lily Bennett. Not because you can cook. Not because you help me taste again. But because you're brave and talented and real. Because you fought your way out of darkness and still managed to create light. I love you too. The words felt like freedom. And I'm still terrified. But I'm choosing courage anyway. Then we'll be terrified together. He kissed her, soft and slow and full of promise. And in Owen's arms, surrounded by the smell of butter and sage and new beginnings, Lily finally let herself believe. In second chances. In love that didn't demand smallness. In a future built on trust instead of fear. She was done running. Done hiding. Done letting anyone, including herself, tell her she wasn't enough. Lily Bennett was exactly enough. And this was just the beginning. 6 months later, Lily stood in the kitchen of her new restaurant, hands dusted with flour, and felt something she'd never quite experienced before.
Peace.
Not the absence of fear. She still had moments of doubt, still heard Derek's voice sometimes telling her she'd fail. But now those moments were fleeting, drowned out by something louder. Her own voice, confident and sure, reminding her of who she'd become. Chef, the soufflés are ready for final inspection. Lily smiled at the title. Chef. It still felt surreal sometimes. She moved to the pastry station where her sous chef, a talented young woman named Carmen, had prepared a dozen perfect chocolate soufflés. Beautiful work, Lily said, examining them with a critical eye. Light, airy, exactly the rise we want. These are going out tonight. For the 7 o'clock seating. We're fully booked. Again. Carmen grinned. Lily, face it. You're kind of a big deal now. It was true, though Lily still struggled to believe it. After the confrontation with Derek, things had moved quickly. The story of her cooking, the divorced waitress who'd rekindled a billionaire's ability to taste, had gone viral. Food publications clamored for interviews. Job offers poured in. But Lily hadn't taken any of them. Instead, with Owen's support and Isabel's surprisingly enthusiastic backing, she'd done something terrifying. Opened her own place. Bennett's.
Small.
Intimate. 30 seats. A menu that changed daily based on what inspired her, what stories she wanted to tell through food. Critics called it emotion on a plate. Cooking with soul. The most genuine dining experience in the city. Lily called it healing. Every dish was a conversation with her past, her pain, her hope. And somehow people felt that. Tasted it. Came back for more.
Chef.
Carmen interrupted her thoughts. Your 6 o'clock reservation just arrived. Lily checked her watch. 6 p.m. exactly. Right on time. She wiped her hands on her apron and walked out to the dining room. The space was everything she'd dreamed. Warm lighting, exposed brick, fresh flowers on every table. Not fancy. Just honest. Like the food she made. And there, at the corner table by the window, sat her mother. Rosemary Bennett looked thinner than before the cancer, but alive. Vibrant. Her hair had grown back in silver curls after the latest round of treatment. She wore a green dress that brought out her eyes. Hey, Mom. Lily bent to kiss her cheek. You're early. I wanted to watch you in your element. Rosemary's smile was pure pride. My daughter, the chef. Owner of the hottest restaurant in the city. Hardly the hottest. 3-month waiting list for reservations, baby girl. That's hot. Lily laughed and slid into the seat across from her. They had 30 minutes before service started. 30 minutes reserved every week for this ritual. Dinner with her mother. No cameras. No critics. Just them. How was treatment today? Lily asked. Good. Dr. Patel says the latest scans are promising. The tumors are shrinking. Rosemary reached across the table to squeeze Lily's hand. I might actually beat this thing. You will beat it. Either way, I'm grateful.
For time. For this.
For watching you bloom. Her mother's eyes glistened. You know what the best part is? What? Seeing you happy. Really, genuinely happy. Not performing it or pretending, but actually being it. Lily felt tears threaten. I am. For the first time in, maybe ever. That's all I ever wanted for you. The door chimed. Lily looked up and felt her heart skip. Owen Wolf walked in, windblown and smiling, carrying a bouquet of wildflowers. Sorry I'm late, he said, kissing Lily quickly before handing Rosemary the flowers. Meeting ran long. These are beautiful. Rosemary accepted them with delight. You spoil me. Someone has to. Owen sat beside Lily, his hand finding hers under the table. Besides, I'm trying to stay in your good graces. I have something to ask you later. Rosemary's eyes sparkled. Do you now? Lily looked between them, suspicious. What's going on? Nothing.
They said it in unison, then laughed.
You two are conspiring. Always. Owen agreed cheerfully. Before Lily could interrogate them further, Carmen appeared with the first course, heirloom tomato salad with burrata and basil oil. They ate and talked and laughed, the conversation flowing easily. This had become their routine over the past 6 months. Wednesday dinners. The 3 of them. Family. Chosen and cherished. Owen had been there for all of it. Not controlling, not managing, just present. He'd helped her navigate the business side of opening a restaurant, introduced her to investors and contractors. But he'd never pushed, never taken over. Just supported from beside her, not in front of her. And somewhere along the way, Lily had stopped being afraid of his love. "So," Rosemary said as they finished dessert, Lily's famous brown butter madeleines, "when are you going to tell me what this mysterious question is?" Owen and Lily exchanged a glance. "Actually," Lily said slowly, "I have news too." "Oh." Her mother leaned forward. "Do tell." "I got a call yesterday. From the James Beard Foundation." Lily's voice trembled slightly. "I've been nominated for Best New Chef." Rosemary gasped. "Lily, that's incredible." "It's just a nomination. It's the James Beard Award." Her mother was out of her seat, pulling Lily into a fierce hug. "My brilliant daughter. I'm so proud of you. I couldn't have done it without help. Without Owen, without you, without your own talent and courage," Rosemary finished firmly. "Yes, you had support. But you did this. You built this. Don't diminish that." Lily nodded, blinking back tears. When they sat down again, Owen cleared his throat. "So, about my question." He looked nervous, genuinely, endearingly nervous. "Rosemary, I wanted to ask your permission for something." The air shifted. Lily's heart started hammering. "I'm listening," Rosemary said, eyes dancing. Owen took a breath. "I love your daughter. More than I thought it was possible to love anyone. She's brilliant and brave and makes every day better just by existing in it. And I'd like, with your blessing, to ask her to marry me." The restaurant went silent. Lily stared at him, at the man who'd seen her at her lowest and believed in her highest, who'd given her freedom instead of a cage, who'd loved her not despite her scars but with them. "Owen," she whispered. He turned to her, pulling out a small velvet box. "I know it's only been 6 months. I know we're still figuring things out. But Lily, I don't want to figure them out with anyone else. I want to wake up next to you, build a life with you, taste everything you make for the rest of my life." He opened the box. Inside was a simple gold band with a single diamond, elegant, understated, perfect. "Marry me." His voice cracked slightly. "Not because I saved you or you saved me, but because we're better together. Because I love you. Because you make me believe in second chances." Lily looked at her mother, who was crying openly. "You have my blessing," Rosemary said, enthusiastically,
Tearfully.
completely. Lily looked back at Owen, at his hope and fear and love all mixed together. 6 months ago, she'd been drowning, broken, convinced she'd never be anything more than Derek's victim.
Now she was a chef.
A business owner, a James Beard nominee, a daughter who'd reclaimed her voice, and maybe, possibly, someone's fiancé. Yes. The word came out strong and sure. "Yes, I'll marry you." Owen's face transformed with joy. He slipped the ring on her finger, perfect fit, like everything else about them, and kissed her while Rosemary applauded and the kitchen staff peeked through the door to see what the commotion was about. When they broke apart, both crying and laughing, Lily heard applause from the kitchen. Carmen appeared with champagne. "I had this ready, just in case." "How did you?" "Boss, he's been planning this for 2 weeks. We all knew." She grinned. "Congratulations, chef." They toasted to love, to new beginnings, to second chances and first courages. And as Lily sat between her mother and her fiancé, surrounded by the restaurant she'd built and the life she'd reclaimed, she felt something she'd never quite believed possible. Wholeness. Not because someone had fixed her, but because she'd fixed herself, and then opened up enough to let others stand beside her while she did. Later that night, after service ended and the last customer left, Lily and Owen sat alone in the empty restaurant. "So," Lily said, studying her ring in the candlelight, "we're getting married." "We are." Owen pulled her close. "Having second thoughts?" "Constantly. But I'm choosing courage anyway. That's my girl." They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Lily asked the question that had been nagging at her for months. Owen, do you still need my food? To taste, I mean? He considered.
No.
Not anymore. When did it stop? It didn't stop exactly. It expanded. He turned to face her. At first, only your food reached me. Then slowly other things started coming through. Other chefs. Other flavors. Until one day, I realized I could taste everything again. Why? Because you taught me something. That food isn't just chemistry and technique. It's connection, emotion, story. And once I started looking for that for the heart in food, I could taste it everywhere. Lily felt tears prick her eyes. So you don't need me anymore. Culinarily speaking. I never needed you for that. Owen cupped her face. I needed you to remember how to feel, how to trust, how to open myself up to joy instead of armor against pain. The taste thing was just a symptom. You healed the actual wound. We healed each other, Lily corrected.
Yeah.
We did. She kissed him, soft and slow and full of promise. I have something for you, Lily said when they broke apart. Stay here. She disappeared into the kitchen and returned with a covered dish. I made you something. Earlier today. Before I knew about the proposal, before any of this. She set it on the table and removed the lid. Inside was a single perfect madeleine, golden brown, fragrant with brown butter and lavender. My mother's recipe, Lily said softly. The worry cakes. I used to think they absorbed anxiety and made it sweet. But I realized something today. They don't absorb worry. They transform it. Turn fear into courage. Sadness into strength. Everything hard into something you can swallow and survive. Owen picked up the madeleine carefully. That's what you did for me, Lily continued. You didn't absorb my problems or fix them. You helped me transform them. Turn all that pain and fear into something I could use. Into power instead of poison. Lily. So, thank you. For seeing me. For fighting beside me. For loving me in a way that made me bigger instead of smaller. Owen took a bite of the madeleine. Closed his eyes. When he opened them, they were wet. That tastes like home, he whispered. Like everything good I've been searching for. That's because it is. Lily took his hand. We're home, Owen. Right here. Together. 3 months later. The James Beard Award ceremony was everything Lily had imagined and nothing she'd expected. She wore a midnight blue dress that Rosemary had helped her pick out. Owen in a tuxedo beside her. Isabel and the team from Wolf Hospitality at their table, all nervously awaiting the announcement. And the James Beard Award for Best New Chef goes to. Lily held her breath. Owen squeezed her hand. Lily Bennett of Bennett's. The room erupted in applause. Lily stood on shaking legs, made her way to the stage in a daze. The award was heavy in her hands.
Real. Solid. Proof.
She looked out at the crowd, at Owen, standing and applauding with tears in his eyes. At Isabel, who'd become a surprising ally and friend. At Carmen and her kitchen staff, cheering wildly. And in the front row, in a wheelchair but there, sat her mother. Rosemary was crying and smiling and mouthing, I'm so proud of you. Lily cleared her throat and stepped to the microphone. I almost didn't make it here tonight, she began. Not because of traffic or logistics, but because 2 years ago, I didn't think I'd make it anywhere. I was divorced, broke, living above a diner, and convinced I'd never be anything more than what my abuser told me I was. The room went silent. But then something happened. Someone tasted my food and reminded me that what I do matters. That cooking with heart and honesty and vulnerability isn't weakness, it's power. And that reminder saved my life. She looked at Owen. This award isn't just for me. It's for everyone who's ever felt broken, who's ever been told they're not enough, who's ever had to rebuild themselves from nothing and thought they couldn't do it. Her voice grew stronger. You can. I promise you can. It won't be easy. It won't be fast. But if you're willing to be vulnerable, to ask for help, to stand up and fight for the life you deserve, you can transform your pain into something beautiful. She held up the award. This is proof. Not that I'm special, but that courage matters. That second chances are real. That you can go from drowning to thriving if you just refuse to give up. The applause was thunderous. Lily finished her speech, thanked her team, her mother, and the man who taught me that love doesn't demand smallness, and walked off stage into Owen's waiting arms. "I'm so proud of you," he whispered into her hair. "We did it." "No, baby. You did it. I just got to watch." 6 months later, the wedding. They got married in the restaurant. Not in a church or a hotel ballroom, but in Bennett's, surrounded by the space Lily had built and the food that had saved them both. 30 guests. Close friends.
Family.
The people who'd stood by them. Rosemary walked Lily down the aisle, thinner than she'd been, but alive, fighting, here. Owen waited at the altar they'd set up by the kitchen, looking at Lily like she was every good thing he'd ever hoped for. The ceremony was simple. Personal vows. No frills. Just truth. "I promise to stand beside you, not in front of you," Owen said. "To celebrate your victories and support you through struggles. To taste every dish you make and remind you, always, that you are enough. Exactly as you are." "I promise to choose courage," Lily responded, voice shaking with emotion. "To trust you even when I'm scared. To build a life with you based on honesty instead of fear. And to always cook with love, especially for you." They exchanged rings, simple gold bands that matched Lily's engagement ring. "I now pronounce you husband and wife," the officiant said. "You may kiss." Owen was already kissing her, and Lily was already kissing back, and the room erupted in applause and joy. At the reception, they served food Lily had prepared. Every dish a story, a memory, a promise. Her mother's bouillabaisse. The eggs that had started everything. The madeleines that tasted like home. And a new dish, a chocolate creation she'd invented just for today, rich and complex and tasting of hope. Derek didn't come. Didn't try to interfere. He'd attempted one last lawsuit, claiming defamation after Lily's James Beard speech, but it had been thrown out. His lawyer had advised him to move on, and for once, Derek had listened. Lily heard through mutual acquaintances that he'd moved to another city. Started over. She hoped he'd get help, find healing, stop hurting people. But mostly, she just stopped thinking about him. He didn't get space in her head anymore. In her heart. In her future. "Happy?" Owen asked, pulling her onto the dance floor. Deliriously. Lily rested her head on his shoulder. "You. More than I knew was possible." They swayed to music, surrounded by love and laughter and the smell of good food. And Lily thought about the journey that had brought her here. From broken to whole. From victim to victor. From hiding to thriving. It hadn't been easy. There were still hard days, moments when doubt crept in, times when she heard Derek's voice or felt the old fears rising. But now she had tools. Support. Love that didn't demand she be smaller. And she had herself, the self she'd fought to reclaim, the chef she'd always been meant to be, the woman who'd learned that vulnerability was strength and asking for help was courage. "Thank you," she whispered to Owen. "For what?" "For tasting my eggs that first night. For coming back. For giving me a reason to believe in myself again." "Thank you," he countered, "for teaching me that life is worth tasting. That feeling is better than numbness. That love is worth the risk." They kissed again, and Carmen appeared with champagne. "Toast time," she announced. Everyone gathered. Isabel stood up first. "I'll admit," she began, "I didn't trust this at first. Thought it was impulsive. Risky. Classic Owen post-Victoria behavior." She looked at Lily. "I was wrong. Lily, you didn't just help Owen heal. You made all of us remember why we do this. Why we cook. Why we serve. Why we care about food being more than just business." She raised her glass. To Lily and Owen. To second chances. To cooking with courage. To cooking with courage, the room echoed. Rosemary stood next, leaning on her cane but smiling radiantly. "My daughter has always been brave," she said. "Even when she didn't know it. Even when life tried to convince her otherwise. And Owen, you gave her space to remember that. Not by fixing her, but by believing in her. She raised her glass. To my brilliant daughter and her equally brilliant husband. May you always cook with love. May you always choose courage. And may you always, always taste the joy. To tasting the joy. They drank and danced and celebrated into the night. And when it was late and most guests had left, Lily and Owen stood alone in the kitchen where so much had begun. So, Owen said, "We're married." "We are." Lily pulled him close. "Ready for forever?" "With you?" "Absolutely. Even though I'm still a mess sometimes? Still scared? Still figuring it out? Especially because of that." He kissed her forehead. "I don't want perfect, Lily. I want you. All of you. The brilliant chef and the scared survivor and everything in between." "Good." She smiled against his chest. "Because that's what you're getting." They stood together in the quiet kitchen, two people who'd been broken finding wholeness in each other. Not because either one had fixed the other, but because they'd chosen, every day, to stand beside each other while they fixed themselves. To taste the joy. To choose courage. To cook with love. And to believe, finally, that they deserved happiness. Together, they'd transformed pain into power. Trauma into triumph. Fear into the most extraordinary love either had ever known. And that was the real miracle. Not the food or the fame or the awards, but two wounded souls finding their way back to light. Together. The end. Oh my heart. They got there happily ever after. Lily went from a scared waitress to a James Beard award-winning chef with a restaurant, a loving husband, and her mother still fighting by her side. This is what healing looks like. This is what choosing courage gets you. What was your favorite part of this whole journey? The first egg scene? The confrontation with Derek? The proposal? The ending? Tell me in the comments. I want to know what moments made you feel all the feelings. And if you love this story, please hit that subscribe button and share this with someone who needs to hear that it's never too late to reclaim your life. That broken doesn't mean defeated. That second chances are real. Thank you for going on this journey with Lily and Owen. Thank you for reading, for caring, for believing in their story. Until the next one, choose courage, friends. Always choose courage.